But first off, we are going to start with the NFL teams list. We're going to go myself, Kev, and then Mitch to end it off here. All 32 teams are being ranked, so I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing. Hopefully this works like unlike last time. All right, it is working. Good. So we have our list here. S, A, B, C, D, and F. I got rid of the E category because what is an E? I don't know what that is. So S is like, these are Super Bowl contenders. These are really the best of the best, if you will. A, you got pretty good teams, really good teams still making the playoffs, but, somewhere around those lines. B teams are borderline playoffs, even maybe playoff teams, but just like in the wild card spot, somewhere around there. C is mediocre. I don't expect much of them. D are very low-ranked teams, somewhere in the 6 and 10, 5 and 11 category. And F is just the worst, like probably the 4 worst teams you can think of in the league. So I'm going to go off of in order. We're going to start from the Falcons, go all the way down to those Washington Redskins. So we have the Atlanta Falcons to start off here. I don't think they're an S team. For me, it's between an A and a B team. Again, this NFC conference is really stacked, so there's a lot of teams in there that are going to fall for me. Right now, if I had to put it, again, I haven't really thought about this list, to be honest with you. I just kind of been going off the top of my head here. I'm going to put the Falcons. That's a tough one. I'm going to put them in this B tier because they've got a lot of good talent, but they had a lot of injuries last year. I know they're coming back, but I need to see a little bit more production from them on the field. Until that point, I will put them in the B category. But Matt Ryan had a really good last season. I think he can do well moving forward here. Baltimore Ravens, they did a pretty good job last year. Lamar Jackson came in, did some good stuff. I got a lot of comments telling me that he's not below average at this point. But that was fun. I'm going to put Ravens I'm going to put them in the C tier, actually. I think right now they're going to downgrade just a little bit coming off of 2018, as Mitch has said as well. And I think that doing so, they're going to take a step back. They're close to a playoff team, but I don't think they're winning their division. I still think that honor goes to the Browns. And if you think the Steelers are good, they could also be there as well. So I'm going to put them in the C category. I don't feel like they're the best of the best yet.
Bro, we're making so many Ravens fans mad. They're going to be like 400 comments about how the Ravens made the playoffs last year and how they have John Harbaugh and this, that, and the other thing. Oh, and Lamar Jackson, don't forget, he was really good last year. Don't forget about that.
Don't forget, he threw less than a touchdown a game, but whew, he's great, right? Again, I think he's good, but I mean, good Lord, the amount of comments we got last time. It was hilarious. It's like Lions comments when we made that video. It's fantastic. No hate whatsoever. Okay, now we're here at the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to go with a B grade as well. I think they're very comparable to the Falcons, who are also in their same division. I think they're a good team. Cam Newton got injured towards the end of the season, which is why they lost a lot of games. But they've still got a lot of really young talent that can come in there, and I think they are going to be better than what they were in 2018. So hopefully Cam Newton doesn't get hurt. That's why he's there. They're there at B. Bears, I'm going to go with an A grade. They were one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL last year. As I hear background noise. They were obviously a really good team to watch. The defense was picking it up there, and they had a lot of good talent. I know some of them left, but I think it's still one of the best balanced teams in the league. And offensively, they got some hiccups to work through, and I still think Mitchell Trubisky needs to grow as a quarterback. But I still think they are a contender here. Not the biggest contender in the S category, but certainly worth the A grade. Bengals. Between D or F. I'm going to put them in the F category because I think they are one of the worst teams in football. They do not.
Billy Vanilli is a permanent Bengals hater. Just so
permanent. I don't see them ever getting above level. To be honest with you, I think with the Bengals, they really struggle at focusing on getting to the next level. They really don't seem to grasp anything further than a surface level because they do have good talent. Obviously, AJ Green, Joe Mixon. I think they're really solid here, but I really don't think the Bengals are stepping it up in a big direction. That's why I think they're still one of the worst teams in football. Browns. If we were going into last year, it'd be a different grade, but seeing the potential and all the stuff that they got there, I'm going with an A grade.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm going in hot. I'm going in hot there with an A grade. I think this team really has a lot to prove here. They have a lot of young talent. They just got OBJ. You know what they've been doing. I mean, if you haven't, you've been living under a rock. So I know it's a little early to say let's put them here in the A grade, but with all the talent and all the potential in the world, I think that A grade is solid enough for me.
Dylan, what's the difference between A and S? Is A like the really good teams but not contenders? Is that what you're going for?
A for me is like, yeah, I see them as contenders in their division or in their conference or whatever, but I don't see them as like the legit Super Bowl teams.
Okay.
I see them as one step behind. So with like the Bears, for example, I still think they're a really good team, their defense as well, but can I see them getting through to the Super Bowl? I don't think so yet, just because of the offense.
I think many would argue on that.
I think many would, but oh, here comes the Cowboys. Now, where do I place those darn stubborn Cowboys at? I'm going to be fair. I'm going to put them in the A grade because of this. Their defense is really, really good. Obviously, they've built on it. They got even, they lost a couple of talent, but they rebuilt with a couple of guys. Robert Quinn's coming in there. Other guys are coming in to fill the voids. But it's always about can they win past the divisional round? And they haven't done that yet since Super Bowl 30. So until they do so, I got to keep them at the A grade. But they are very close, and they're one of the best teams in the NFC, no doubt about it. Broncos, I'm going to give them a D grade for right now. They're looking further into the future. I see what they're doing, but they're kind of staggering at this point. I don't see them quite yet. G-Men, the Packers here. I'm going to go with a B grade. Again, obviously Aaron Rodgers has all the talent in the world. He's still really good. He can do, pretty much anything, but they didn't make the playoffs last year. They got a new head coach. Let's see what they can do. I've been very skeptical of what they're going to do, but right now I'm going to put them in the B grade. Texans, I'll put them in, A or B? A or B? I'm going to go with B. They're a really solid team. They're obviously, very close to making the playoffs. Some would argue that they might not even make the playoffs this year. Their division is really, really stacked with teams. But I still think they can do a lot of damage. And overall, I think they are a good team. They got Deshaun Watson, but we'll see what they do further down the line. I just can't put them in this A grade. Giants, F. Vikings, I don't even have to say. Do I really have to say anything about the Giants? They're just the worst franchise in sports. Vikings. I want to put them in this B team, but I also feel like a C team grade. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put them in the C grade because
the Vikings fan is putting them in the C grade?
Yeah, I'm putting them in the C grade, bro, because I honestly do not see this team really stepping up to what they are. You know what I mean? Like Kirk Cousins had a really disappointing year, in my opinion. He had a lot of really good games over the course of the year, but he wasn't consistent.
But Dylan, he completed 70% of his passes, bro.
Ooh, your favorite stat in the world, the completion percentage. What did that do in the playoffs? It did nothing. They fell in the last 2 games of the year. They didn't make the playoff spot. Those Eagles got that spot instead. So, I mean, until then, I just can't put them. I feel like they could be a B team. I can see that, but I just don't think they stepped up to the standards of even some of these teams in the B column right now. So, that's why they're at B. Lions. This one's an interesting one. I'm clearly going to get no hate whatsoever on the Lions wherever I put them. I feel like they belong more in the C category as well, more than a B as of right now. They did upgrade a lot of teams or a lot of places. They did pretty well in certain areas, but until we get that success, I kind of have to see it. I know I said potential-wise with the Browns here, but with the Lions, I don't see as much potential. And plus, they're in a really stacked NFC North that I just don't know if they're going to compete. 6-10 kind of really.
Bro, we have a secret Lions fan base on the channel, so I hope you're not upsetting them too much. I think they'll like my list better than yours.
I think they're going to love this list. What do you mean, though? 49ers. Until Jimmy G plays on the field, they're going to be in the C category.
Whoa!
Yeah. I think they're a good team. I think they are a really good team. George Kittle absolutely destroyed it last year. But we didn't see Jimmy G. We did not see them in this standing right now. And I got to see more out of them until they do that. I'm going to put them in the C. The Cardinals, F. They're one of the worst teams in football. I know they're for rebuild. I can't really judge them that much here, but for now, they're going to be in the F tier. Dolphins, they're the least talented team in football, as I've stated many times. So F. Bills. I'm going to put, they're not in this tier yet, but they will get there. I'm going to put them in the D tier. I think they'll move up. I like their defense a lot, but I see them getting up there in the future. Even after this year, they could be, but we got to see. Colts.
Are you projecting or are you not projecting?
I'm projecting them to do better.
Half of your teams you're projecting, half of your teams you're not.
No, with the Bills, I see them coming into 2019 struggling a little bit, but I do like what they're doing as a future of the franchise. But this is into 2019. Colts, we have our first S team, ladies and gentlemen. The Colts, I think, are big-time contenders this year. I really like what the Colts have been doing. Obviously, you saw with Andrew Luck what he was able to do in 2018, come back with a huge season, and overall, definitely like what their future is going around, especially their head coach with Frank Reich. So, got to put them in the S tier. Raiders, a little bit above F right now, but they're in the D tier. They can't go much higher than that. They did obviously get a B. They got a lot of hype around them, but I see it as D until otherwise. Those Eagles, they are in the S tier as well. They have a lot of talent. You could say the most talented team in football right now. A lot of cheap contracts. They're working to make another Super Bowl appearance, and I think they definitely have the talent to do so. Hopefully Carson Wentz can stay healthy. Jaguars, the Jaguars. They had a really disappointing 2018, but it's also because they had a terrible, terrible quarterback at the helm for most of the year. For me, they're between a B and a C. I'm going to put them in the C category, but I can definitely see them being a B. And my question is whether their offense is worth the standards for the B grade. Kansas City, they're an S tier for me. I know there's questions of whether or not they're going to be the same as 2018, but I still really like the talent that they have involved. And coming off a 50-touchdown season for the Chiefs, I can't change anything about that. Chargers. I feel like I should put them in the S tier, but, I mean, they always disappoint for me come playoff time, and I don't know if they're going to give me the same success in 2019. I think their defense is one of the best in the league, but I'm going to keep them in this A grade because I feel like they belong here more than the S tier. Really good talent still. I like what they're doing, but I just can't put them here based on disappointments I've had with them. Rams, I think they're going to take just a step back, but I also think they are still quite contenders for this NFC. I know some will disagree, putting them in the S tier here. We have a couple of really good S tiers. I'm going to be honest. They were saved for the last. Patriots, F. No, I'm kidding. Of course it's S. What are you talking about? You can't do anything about that. Saints, I'm going to put them in the S tier as well. I still think they are one of the best teams in football. They are really doing a really good job moving forward. I think their receivers still need a little bit of work, but overall, they're still a very high contender for the NFC. Jets, putting them in this D category. They are not an F tier like some of these other teams here, but again, just like the Raiders, in my opinion, not enough to push them over the C grade. Steelers, interesting team here. I'm going to put as a B grade. I am a little bit low on the Steelers coming into 2019, but I still think they'll make the playoffs or have a good run to make the playoffs. They just need to prove it for me, and I think they are right around the same group here when it comes to the Falcons, the Panthers, the Packers, and the Texans.
I would just like to point out that I've been watching Kevil's reactions, and the only one he visually reacted to was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh,
so I'm interested to see what Kevil does.
Okay, interesting. Well, here's another reaction. The Seahawks. Where do the Seahawks fall in? There's been a lot of questions about whether or not they're going to do as well as they did in 2018 coming into this year, and I like what they've been doing. I feel like they fit just barely in the B category more than the C category, in my opinion here. Buckies, the Buckaroos. D or F for me. That's a tough one. I believe with Bruce Arians coming in here, it'll be a D for me. Titans. They're a C for me. I do not like what the Titans have been doing. They've been staggering around the same point for years. I either want them to win the division or absolutely tank. Like, do something, you know? Like, I actually don't tank. But, you know, they are very mediocre at best, which is why I feel like the C category is appropriate. finally, the Washington Redskins, a team that I think has an interesting future ahead. Right now, it's going to be in the D category until then. So there you go. That is my rankings for this list. As you can see, we have 10 teams in the S and A categories. So if you want to figure out who I think are the top 10 teams in the National Football League, you can kind of go from there. We have 6 teams in B, C, and D. And then finally, rounding out the F, are the Bengals, Giants, Cardinals, and Dolphins. So that is my list here.